As listeners, we want you to understand that the solution of business, tax, and legal issues depends on many factors, including local, state, and federal laws. Listeners' names and questions may be simulated. The show is not intended to offer business, tax, or legal advice, and Spiegel and Utrera PA, its attorneys, and Lawrence J. Spiegel recommend you seek legal advice from an attorney about your specific matter. AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today. There are only two types of people, those in business and those who wish they were. Join Larry Spiegel, entrepreneur, author, and managing shareholder of Spiegel and Utrera PA, with host Joe Castello, as they tackle issues and challenges associated with starting, expanding, buying, or selling your business in today's highly competitive marketplace. It's time to start or expand your business today. And now, here's Larry Spiegel and Joe Castello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today. I'm Joe Castello, and we're once again joined in the studio by entrepreneur, author, and managing shareholder at Spiegel and Utrera PA, Larry Spiegel. Larry, welcome back.
Thank you, Joe. As always, I'm excited to be here today, and I can't wait to hear the questions that we have from our listeners.
The questions are stacking up. The questions are coming in.
They are, and many of these questions I find to be very complex, and I hope everybody follows the answers that we're able to give.
I'm sure that they are, and just having the resource available, things happen, challenges present themselves. You need to find a way to go right through it, and asking a question of someone who knows what they're talking about is a great way.
It is. It's helpful to hear other people's opinions, what they can help you with, and hopefully there is some motivation involved.
Well, there's a lot of great opportunities out there in the world right now for very industrious people. They might need some guidance along the way, and that's what we're doing right here on the show. If you've got an entrepreneurial question related to legal or business strategy, you can email us at radioshow@amerilawyer.com. That's radioshow@amerilawyer.com, or call 800-520-7600, where you leave your name, your question, and it may make it on the show. Time for questions. Larry, you ready?
Yes, hit me, Joe.
All right, first question. Here we go, coming from Chris.
Yes, my name is Chris, and I still don't quite understand the difference between an LLP and an LLC. And also, I just had one business partner. Which one would make the most sense for me to be in? Thank you, and I'll take my answer off air. Thank you.
Chris, that's quite a question. For those who don't know, the LLP is the Limited Liability Partnership, and the LLC, of course, is the Limited Liability Company. Now, I want to tell you that the answers to this question, or this first part of it, is quite a thicket. The Limited Liability Partnership has very little application and utilization today in the business world. Well, you might ask then, why does it even exist? Well, it probably exists because of professional practices that have utilized it over the years. By that I mean accountants and lawyers. Many times accountants or lawyers are prohibited from using a limited liability company, and so they turn to the limited liability partnership. And that's where we see it's being utilized, I would say, 90% of the time. They're using it because there are special provisions generally found in state statutes about limited liability partnerships that allow for the insulation of the partner's liability if, in fact, one of the partners has been negligent. So it kind of creates a firewall or firewalls between partners and does not allow the liability of a particular partner to spill over to others. But like I said, its utilization is fairly limited to what I would call professional practices. And you could include any profession you wanted to under that. And again, when we're looking at that profession in a particular state, we may want to use a limited liability company if it's permitted. And of course, I'm not suggesting either that it would be preferred over the limited liability partnership. It would require an analysis of the laws in that particular state as it relates to both of those entities and its type of business. The other thing that you mentioned is that you had a business partner, and that's not uncommon. We see many situations where we have business partners and we are forming subchapter S corporations, and we're forming limited liability companies and regular corporations with 2 or more people who may very well call themselves partners. I'm always concerned about the partnership arrangement because there is a lot of time spent by partners, in quotes I say partners, because they call themselves partners, but they're shareholders or members. And one of the things we really have to try to do in the beginning is decide whether or not this quote-unquote partner is going to be compatible with his other partner, or whether or not these 2 people are going to be compatible, or 3 people, 4, whatever the case may be. So one of the things that I recommend is that we enter into an agreement before we even form the company. So this is an agreement to form a limited liability company, an agreement to form an S corporation, a regular corporation, whatever the case may be. And going through the process of that agreement with the partners, again, whether there be 2, 3, or more, we're going to find out real quick whether or not we're going to be able to make this work. And I have seen this over and over again, where these individuals could not get this agreement signed because they could not agree on all the terms and conditions. Of course, what are those terms and conditions? Well, they're innumerable. That's why this agreement is so important, because it acts as a checklist for all the different things that you may run up against in your business. And like I said, with this process, you're going to find out who can be the partners or who can't, or whether this is even going to fly. So I recommend you do that.
That makes perfect sense. We see nowadays over 50% of marriages dissolve and break up. Imagine if you're going to start a business with someone, you have all of the stresses of a marriage without any of the fun stuff.
Well, no, I'm not willing to draw that analogy, but it is a situation where you must find that you are compatible and on the same wavelength as it relates to whatever the objectives are that are going to be carried out. And there are many ways to carry these things out, and one person may not agree with that. And now's the time to find out. Don't wait.
Every situation is a little bit different and needs to be reviewed and analyzed to determine what the right answer is.
Right, and there's a methodology that you can go about to do this. Of course, will go in one ear and out the other of many people, and they will just set up a company with another individual, and they're off and running after that. And, of course, the problems will arise down the road, maybe even a week down the road.
Chris, great question. Best of luck with your situation. We got time for one more of this segment, this one coming from Andrew regarding his 501c3.
The name is Andrew. I want to know, what are the benefits of my nonprofit being formally recognized by the IRS as a 501c3 nonprofit corporation? Thank you.
There's a lot of benefits, providing the nonprofit corporation is something that you want to embark upon. First of all, it's tax exempt. And not only is it exempt from federal taxes, but more than likely it'll be exempt from state income taxes also if there's a state corporate income tax in your state. The nonprofit corporation will also be allowed to accept contributions and donations, which are tax deductible by the donors, the people that give you the money, provided you have your official letter of determination from the Internal Revenue Service. We'll come back to that in a moment. Depending upon the state where you set up your nonprofit corporation, there may also be exemptions for state sales tax and for real and property taxes. When you have a nonprofit corporation, you'll also have the ability to obtain grants and loans which have been reserved for these special types of corporations. You'll also find that the post office grants discounts to nonprofit corporations. There are many advertising discounts out there, and many other vendors offer discounts to nonprofit corporations. You'll also receive public recognition of your corporation and its tax-exempt status. One of the steps that you must take in the process of your establishing your nonprofit corporation is obtaining your official letter of determination from the IRS. At Spiegel and Joe, PA, we're advising clients constantly to seek this formal approval from the Internal Revenue Service as quickly as possible after forming their nonprofit corporation. It'll be a much easier application process because the longer you wait, the more questions you'll have to answer and explanations you'll have to give, and that can also bog down the approval process and take a lot longer. So don't hesitate. Once you have your business plan, form your nonprofit corporation. Your next step is to seek formal recognition from the Internal Revenue Service.
Andrew, thanks for your question, and best of luck to you. If you've got a question, radio show at AmeriLawyer.com. While you're on the site, check it out. You could even pick up a copy of one of Larry's books, Charlie's Entrepreneurial Journey. Basically, it's a great story of Charlie, who is a copywriter, who decides, I'm going for it. I'm going to make a move, and all the process associated. Charlie's Entrepreneurial Journey. You can pick it up at AmeriLawyer.com. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back after this with more of your questions out there. Send them over, fire them off. We'll get to them right here on AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today.
Start or expand your business today.
There are some mistakes in business that may cause the occasional headache. Then there are some mistakes in business that may keep you up all night for weeks and months at a time. Avoid those mistakes by seeking strategic business and legal advice from a team of attorneys ready to help you. Spiegel and Joe PA's General Counsel Club can assist you with the tough legal and business questions at crucial times. Call toll-free 800-734-9900 to receive your annual membership and be entitled to get unlimited strategic business and legal advice for a year. The General Counsel Club can assist with how to buy or sell business, converting hobby expenses into legitimate business expenses. What are legitimate business expenses for tax purposes? Tips on leasing a business location, whether for retail, office, warehouse, or industrial. Leasing versus buying options for vehicles and equipment. IRS examinations, audits, liens, levies, deficiencies, and settlements of tax disputes. Knowledge is power, and knowing that Spiegel and Joe PA's General Counsel Club is one phone call away may give you the confidence to succeed during the day and rest well at night. Call 800-734-9900 or log on to AmeriLawyer.com today.
Got a question about starting, expanding, buying, or selling your business? Email radioshow@AmeriLawyer.com. Listeners' questions may air on episodes of AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today. That's radioshow@AmeriLawyer.com. Now back to Start or Expand Your Business Today.
We're back with AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today. I'm Joe Castello, once again joined by Larry Spiegel. Larry, there's lots of questions out there, lots of people making moves, and a lot of opportunity out there in the world.
There is, Joe, and I'm ready to help people get started. Let's hear the question. I'll give my best shot at it.
We haven't had him on the ropes yet.
Yeah.
Next one coming from Tom.
My name is Tom. I have a question about my trademark. I have registered with the federal government, and now I am being flooded with mail about protecting the mark and listing the mark. The mail all looks very official and legal, but it seems like junk mail to me. Much of it looks like it's from a government agency, but I don't think it is. Do I need to do anything about these? Thanks.
Are you saying, Tom, that in the mail you're receiving things that look like they might be a scam? I believe that's what you're saying, and probably there is some of that scattered throughout the mail. We do see that from time to time ourselves at Spiegel and Joe PA. But as far as the trademark is concerned, you'll renew the trademark in between its 5th and 6th year, and then at about its 10th year anniversary, and every 10 years after that. Now, that's the legal requirements for renewal. Now, there could also be a whole host of things that you'll want to do to protect your trademark. And that's where this mail comes in. They're offering to you some kind of watch service, monitoring service, to be sure that nobody else is infringing on your mark, whether that be in some other state or location that you're unaware of, whether somebody's filing a trademark registration that might be similar to yours. So there's a whole host of things that you can do on an ongoing basis to protect your mark. I suspect that that's what a lot of the mail is. I would also say that probably the average owner of the trademark isn't really that concerned about the continuing protection of the mark. Now, that's not right, but that's what probably goes on. I'm sure we've all heard stories of Coca-Cola and how they protect their mark. They probably have a battery of 60 or 70 lawyers, and this is all they're working on all the time, either preventing others from using something that's similar, or their name itself, or whatever it is. So you have that one extreme against yourself, and you can compare yourself to that. And it's really dependent upon how much you want to monitor and keep your mark pristine and not being utilized by anybody else in any manner.
Is that something people can do themselves if they don't want to hire a service? And how would they go about doing that?
It's something that we can assist them with, but again, it's an investment that you're making in the mark, and I believe that there will come a point in time with the mark that you will know that you need such a service. Obviously, it's not going to be from day one because we have to make our business succeed. But there certainly will come a point in time in the life cycle of the business where the value of that mark needs to be protected, and you will know at that time the steps that you'll need to take and the investment you'll have to make to see that you do protect your mark.
Tom, great question. The emails are flowing in. Here's another one. This one coming from Andrew. Larry, is it possible to make money for myself while still doing good for others utilizing a nonprofit corporation?
Without a doubt, Andrew. You don't have to look any further than the American Red Cross and hundreds of other nonprofit corporations which you're familiar with. Each one of these organizations receives millions of dollars in donations and grants every year, and they support massive payrolls and have tremendous administrative expenses. Just like a profit corporation, it all begins with an idea and putting that idea into a plan. That plan, your business plan. But don't ever be confounded by the idea that it's a non-profit corporation and therefore I myself cannot benefit from it, because you can. There are numerous situations where people are drawing very, very hefty salaries from non-profit corporations. And when I say hefty, I'm talking about over $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 a year. And there's no reason why your idea can't mushroom into that as you operate under this shroud of the nonprofit corporation. And you're doing good also at the same time.
Let's delve a little deeper into that, Larry, because people, I'm sure, think nonprofit means you're not supposed to make money, but the people who are working there to ultimately do the greater good, whatever it is, they've got to earn money, otherwise they can't be there.
They're all paid. They're all have their salary. But apart from that, we have the entrepreneurial aspect also, which even though I mentioned the Red Cross only because of the tremendous amount of contributions and donations it receives, there's no reason why your nonprofit can't also have a plan where it gets income either from donations or from grants that may be given or from a business activity it engages in the furtherance of its nonprofit purpose. So what would that be? Let's say that your idea is that you want to help feed the poor. You need to generate money for that. And you have this idea where you're going to collect used clothing. You're going to sell the used clothing in a thrift store. And through those sales, you'll receive money. And with that money, you'll have to pay yourself and your staff and have your administrative expenses. And then you'll be able to also engage in your principal activity, feeding the poor.
Very interesting stuff, Andrew. Great question. Got time for one more of this segment. This one coming from Frank.
Hey, guys. This is Frank. And me and a small group I put together meet to collect food and other items for our troops in the armed forces fighting in other countries. We have been doing this for a while and utilizing our own money, too. But in order to solicit donations from the general public, we would like to incorporate and make this a serious charitable organization. What kind of corporation would it be? And what steps should I follow? Thank you for your answer.
Well, Frank, you'd set up a nonprofit corporation so as it met the requirements of the Internal Revenue Code so that it may eventually qualify to be what they call a 501c3 corporation. And one of these types of 501c3 corporations is a charitable corporation. And that sounds to me like what your business activity is and would probably fit the bill for you. Of course, you have to go through not only will you set up your company at the state level, but you'll go through the IRS exemption process. We have to be sure our articles of incorporation and bylaws are in compliance with the IRS requirements. And then, as you've heard me state before, it's very important to set up the company and then follow through immediately with your IRS application process. There's no reason why it can't be granted. It's a wonderful purpose that you're engaged in. Everybody knows that, and you should be successful in collecting donations and perhaps even obtaining grants.
Excellent. Frank, and thank you very much for your work with the armed forces out there and supporting our troops. Certainly appreciate it. If you've got a question for Larry, you can email us, radioshow@amerilawyer.com. That's radioshow@amerilawyer.com, and we'll use it on the show. We'll be back with more of your entrepreneurial questions right after this on Start or Expand Your Business Today.
amerilawyer.com.
Start or expand your business today. Form your corporation for as little as $104.95. Each corporation is complete and includes state filing fees, corporation records book, corporate seal, articles of incorporation, corporate bylaws, corporate minutes, stock certificates, preliminary name search, and attorney's fees. Spiegel and Joe PA and AmeriLawyer.com can also help you with assumed or fictitious business names, advising on legitimate business expenses for tax purposes, discussing the converting of personal expenses into deductible business expenses, assisting you in developing a service agreement for your business, answering your questions on the advantages of minority-owned business certification, explaining the differences between a corporation and a limited liability company, and the benefits of creating either a regular corporation, S corporation, or a limited liability company. Knowledge is power. Order over the phone at 800-603-3900. That's 800-603-3900, or online at AmeriLawyer.com.
Got a question about starting, expanding, buying, or selling your business? Call 800-520-7600. Just leave your name and your question. Listeners' questions may air on episodes of AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today. That's 800-520-7600. Now back to Start or Expand Your Business Today.
Welcome back to Start or Expand Your Business Today. I'm Joe Castello, and we're taking your questions about starting your business, expanding your business, whatever you got. Send it over, radioshow@AmeriLawyer.com. Larry Spiegel is with us. He's the managing shareholder of Spiegel and Joe PA. Larry, the questions are coming in.
They are, Joe, and I'm excited about them, and I hope I'm doing a good job at answering them.
I think you're putting us on the right track.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
This one coming from John.
Hi, Larry. My name is John. I have a couple of different small part-time businesses. Do you recommend a separate corporation entity for each, or is it better to have one entity that provides many services?
John, let me answer that by first, let's talk about what we call a fictitious name. Some places they're called assumed names. Other places they're called alternate names. This is a process that allows a business to utilize many different names as it operates. Each of them can be completely different. Joe's Landscaping, Joe's Laundry. Same business might have Sam's Auto Repair. So you could go on and on with any kind of names you wanted. As long as they're registered properly, your business may use them. So on the one hand, and when I say business, I'm talking about the limited liability company or the corporation. Even though we could utilize all these names in our business, it may not be prudent to do so, because what we would have to perform at that point would be some sort of a liability analysis. Do we really want the liabilities of one of these businesses to spill over into another one of our businesses? And if they're all under the same company, that's going to affect everything. So it's probably not a good idea. But I am confronted by clients from time to time having to make the liability analysis. And I will tell you that most of the time, the liability analysis requires them to set up another entity. However, there are exceptions. But you must make the analysis. And the analysis is simple. With this business activity, if it went haywire and be involved with my other businesses, would I want its liabilities to then have to be paid by the other businesses that I have? Because one of the principal reasons we're going to use a corporation or a limited liability company is to segregate it and its liabilities from everything else, including yourself. So once we mix them together, that can very well turn into a problem. These are the types of problems that can keep you awake at night. Now, going into these things, we don't think about it. Oh, no, I did my liability analysis. Everything was okay. May not be, though. Supposing we're down the road a few months and now we owe trade creditors for products we've purchased and other things that we still have sitting on the shelf. We don't have the ability to pay the bills. We didn't set up a separate company. Now all of a sudden, other portions of our business are successful. We have to use that money to pay those bills. This is what we're talking about with liability analysis.
This one coming from Sydney. Will I receive a special number which I need to give to those individuals who provide donations to our nonprofit organization? Asks Sydney.
There is no special number that you need to give. However, good practice will be to be sure your federal tax ID number, also known as the employer identification number, is on all documents you give to somebody acknowledging their donation to your organization.
And that's it for questions on this week's edition of Start or Expand Your Business Today. And now it's time for Larry's final thought. Larry?
Joe, I think today what I'd like to mention are trade associations and how important they can be to you in your business. Or, for that matter, even helping you come up with an idea for a business. I know we live in the Internet age, but I would suggest that you visit the public library. Each public library generally has a business reference department. And in the business reference department, they'll have a publication which will be a directory of associations. And hopefully it will even categorize separately trade associations. And trade associations can be very, very beneficial in helping you developing your business plan, or, for that matter, helping you expand your business. There are numerous trade associations out there, and I'm not thinking about a trade association that's directly related to your business. For example, let's say you're in the swimming pool servicing business and you are already aware of the trade association that relates to that industry. But there may very well be another trade association, for example, relating to licensing, which you weren't aware of. And now by becoming a member of that association or attending their annual convention, you'll get tons of ideas about things that you can do to expand your business utilizing, let's say, the concept of licensing. So there are numerous things that are available at the library. I'm trying to just limit it today to trade associations and how beneficial they can be to you in helping you either start or expand your business.
Larry, excellent job this week. Thanks to everyone out there for listening. We certainly appreciate it. And remember, if you have a question about starting or expanding your business, you're thinking about taking advantage of some of these new opportunities or big opportunities that are out there in the world, by all means, shoot us an email, radioshow@amerilawyer.com. Visit the site, amerilawyer.com, or call us, 800-520-7600. Leave your name and your question, and we may use it on the show. Larry, excellent work. Thank you so much once again.
Well, Joe, thank you for having me, and I hope everybody out there knows that they need to plan their work and work their plan.
Plan their work and work their plan. That's going to do it for this edition of AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today.
AmeriLawyer.com, where understanding your business is our business.
There are some mistakes in business that may cause the occasional headache. Then there are some mistakes in business that may keep you up all night for weeks and months at a time. Avoid those mistakes by seeking strategic business and legal advice from a team of attorneys ready to help you. Spiegel and Joe PA's General Counsel Club can assist you with the tough legal and business questions at crucial times. Call toll-free 800-734-9900 to receive your annual membership and be entitled to get unlimited strategic business and legal advice for a year. The General Counsel Club can assist with selecting a legal and tax structure for your business, building business credit, when a trust should own your corporation or limited liability company. What are the benefits of forming a corporation or limited liability company? What are the differences between a corporation and limited liability company? Using employees versus independent contractors. Knowledge is power, and knowing that Spiegel and Joe PA's General Counsel Club is one phone call away may give you the confidence to succeed during the day and rest well at night. Call 800-734-9900 or log on to AmeriLawyer.com today.